Yo, we are back in After Effects, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to add this 3D money effect. It looks super smooth, and I'll show you how to do this right now. So in my timeline you can see I have this clip right here which we're gonna add the effect on. It is actually shot by my bro Ed, so big shout out to him for letting me use the footage right here. But anyways, to start off, I'm gonna select my footage right here, go over to the right side, and where it says tracker right here, just hit track camera, and then you can go to where it says advanced and just hit detail analysis right here, so it like comes out with the good track that we can use. So let it do its thing for now. Now after your tracker is done, make sure your path visibility layer is turned on. Then you can see all of these like track points in your scene. I'm going to right click on some of these stable one and create a solid and camera. And now if we take a look at the solid right here, it is exactly tracked to our scene. So that's exactly what we want. But we don't really need this track solid for now, so you can just hide it right here. But now what we're gonna do is create our own solid right here. So create a solid, you can name it element basically, because we're gonna add a element 3D effect in here. Then hit OK, and in here of course I'll be using element to do this. If you don't already know, element 3D is a plugin which allows you to do like 3D stuff within After Effects, so make sure you have that before trying to do any 3D. But anyways, in element we're gonna go over to the scene setup firstly, so head over to scene setup right now, and for the 3D model I'll be using my 3D model pack right here. If you don't already know, I got a 3D model pack which consists of 40 plus 3D model. It is specially made for a music video. Comes with money, guns, everything that you need for a music video, so it's completely dope. And it includes OBJ, FBX and GLB formats, so you can use it with any software basically. So if you want to check it out, I'll link it in the description. But after you download the pack, I'll be using the $100 bill model from here, which is on top. Open that up and you can see this 100 bill OBJ right here. I'm gonna open that right there and just hit OK. Then now it's too small right now. To fix that, just go over to where it says normalize size and hit that right there. And then you can see we have a real cool $100 bill model right here ready to go. If you don't want to make the purchase right now, what you can do is go over to your browser right here and go over to Sketchfab. Search up Sketchfab right here, and you can just go through and find some good model in here. But for now, let's just use this one right here. But now in our scene setup, you can play around, but we are basically done with the scene setup. So we're gonna hit OK and go back to our main scene. Now we have played through. You can see we have the dollar bill right here, but if you play through, it is like randomly floating around. That's because it is really in front of our camera. To fix that, all you gotta do is go over to the group one right here. I'm going to firstly go over to particle look and go over to particle rotation and rotate it something like this, so it is like easier for y'all to see. Then now we're gonna go over to particle replicator and just like bring it up so it goes into the back, maybe around like 4,000, yeah, around like 4,000 or some shit like there. And now if you play through, you can see it is like stably tracked to the footage, but it is too small, so of course bring up the size. But yeah, you can see now it is like perfectly tracked to our footage. That's exactly what we want. After this, we're gonna replicate our model and make it look like a bunch of money floating around. So to do that, of course, in Animate, I'm gonna go over to particle replicator. In particle count, I'm gonna set it to like 14 or something right there. Then go over to where it says replicator effects, go over to scatter, and then you can just bring up the scatter right here, so it like scatters around. Then I'm gonna scatter it around the x-axis as well, on the y, maybe something like this, and of course on the z-axis as well. And if some of your model go like disappearing as you bring up the z-axis, all you gotta do is go over to where it says render settings, and in camera cutoff, just like bring it up so all of these gets like visible right there. Then now you can start playing around with the seed to find what works the best for you. So if you don't already know, you can go over to particle replicator where it says seed right here at the last. You can just go through all of these seed and it will like make like custom like replications, so you can go through and find what works the best for you. I guess this one right here looks the coolest, so I'm gonna go with this, I guess. Yeah, this one looks the best. Yeah, this looks hard. Of course you can play around with the settings more, so something like this, maybe something like this as well. And I'm gonna put it where his like head is going, so around like here. And yeah, I guess that positioning right there looks cool to me. So after you find finally a position where you want the money to float around, we're gonna start keyframing. So I'm gonna like keyframe it when my footage like turns into like slow-mo right here. So like here, I'm gonna hit the stopwatch in the position X firstly, and hit the stopwatch in all of these rotations as well. And then we're gonna bring up all of these keyframes. I'm actually gonna set this X position to 0 as well, because it was just for example. But now you can select all these keyframes, put it at the end frame right here. Then at the first frame, I'm gonna get my position and move them in the left side so it goes out of frame. Make sure you hold shift on a keyboard so it like go through all the values real fast. So now you can see it is out of our frame, and now if you play through, you can see it like slowly comes in right there. Then of course, easy is these keyframes. You can go over to the graph, and for this one, make a graph like this. I don't really like spread graph on position, so I'm just gonna use this plugin called Flow, but you can work with it. Yeah, something like this of a graph in here. Now actually we're gonna select all these like rotation keyframes and just like delete these, because we actually gotta finalize our rotation before like actually animating it. So we're gonna go over to the end frame right here, and I'm gonna play with the X rotation firstly so it like faces the front, and then we're gonna actually go over to the particle rotation, and in here where it says rotation random, you can bring that up to get some like random like rotations in your like all of your like money. So something right there. Maybe I'm gonna bring up the G right here and push it to the back right there, and go over to the camera cutoff and bring that up more, so something right there. And also like play with my position keyframe so it is like on the top, so something right there. Then now I'm gonna hit the stopwatch in the X rotation right here, put this keyframe at the end and go to our first frame, and I'm gonna set it to 1. Then now what it will do is give that 1 cycle rotation right there. After that, you can select all of these keyframes, F9, go over to the graph and make a graph like this in the photograph. Maybe this graph is too much, so maybe something like this. And maybe I'm going to select all of these keyframes and move this a little farther so it comes in around like here. So now you can see we have this super smooth animation right there, but our money still doesn't look too realistic for me because it ain't like rotating as the real actual dollar bill will, because it is not actually like bending and deforming, I would say, like a real dollar bill would. So to fix that, we're gonna go over to the deform right here, right below our multi objects, and make sure you enable that and go over to where it says twist. Also enable the twist right here, and we're gonna go over to the last frame and bring up the twist a little bit. So I would like something like this, maybe something like this in the twist X, and then hit the stopwatch in the twist X, go over to the first frame and just bring it up to something that you like. So I don't like 200 or something. Nah, maybe 200 is a little too much, not gonna lie. Maybe something like 180 or something like that. Then you can align these keyframes at the end and at the start. F9 to easy ease, go into the graph and make a graph like this in here. And now if you play through, you can see it looks way more realistic because it has all of those bend type of shit like a real dollar bill would have. So something right there. And you can bring up the rotation keyframe at the first a little bit more so it looks a little real right there. Then now we are almost done. You can turn on the motion blur to have some motion blur in there and set it to something like 360, whatever matches your like footage, and just like rotate the lighting until you get something that you like, maybe something like this, as you can see. Then to top it off, we're gonna add an optical glow right here and bring up the size and lower down the amount and bring up the highlights only. Then you can just set it to extended almost to get rid of the background right there. Then now we are pretty much done. As I said, to finish it all off, you can add a drop shadow right here, bring up the drop shadow. You can go back into the element and go over where it says ambient occlusion, turn that on. What it will do is add some shadows, realistic shadows where our like 3D model overlaps. But now lastly, we're gonna make an adjustment layer and put it below my element. Then in this adjustment layer, we're gonna add a hue and saturation and hit the stopwatch in the color range, and as it goes, you can lower down the saturation so it like basically like desaturate as our money comes in. And lastly, to top it all off, we're gonna add some zooms and some wiggles in here. So for that, I'm gonna add another adjustment layer. Maybe we're gonna pre-comp all of these so it is like easier for y'all to pre-comp all of these. And in this adjustment layer, I'm going to use my Essential FX to do it. So if you don't already know, Essential FX is my preset pack, which comes with 40 plus presets in there, which helps you to add some insane effects and transitions to your music video, as the name says. So I'm going to open up my animation presets, user presets, and in Essential FX right here, and firstly add the zoom in and out right here and bring up the keyframes of it. I'm going to remove the last keyframe because it is the out keyframe and we don't want the out transition in here. Then you can go to the blur curve and just set it to our artist face right here. Then you can bring up the keyframes a little bit more, and now you can see super easily, you can see we have the zoom going on, and right where the zoom happens around like here and where the money comes in, we just gonna add an adjustment layer right here, and I'm gonna use the preset Asim best wiggle in here and go a little bit further and then just like trim the adjustment layer at the start. And now if you play through, you can see we also have the wiggle with it, which looks insanely hard, bro. So as you can see, with the Essential FX we can add crazy effects like these in like single clicks. So if you want to check out the full pack, I'll link it in the description. But now in here, I'm gonna add my last adjustment layer right here, trim it to the size of our wiggle adjustment layer, then add curves in here firstly and make a S curves to add some depth, and with it I'm gonna add a sapphire warp chroma in here, something right there, and bring out the steps. And now if I play through, you can see we have our effect complete and ready to go. So this is our final effect right here. So yeah, I guess that's it for today's video, guys. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like button and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. But I'ma see you on the next one. Peace.